Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to REI Sports Network. I'm excited. I always say it's a good one, but I mean, I'm just saying, this is really a good one. We got Justin Peterson from the Grind Session, you guys, and he's taking some time to be with us right now. So if you see glimmerings on his face and his face changing colors, it's because y'all already know it's FIFA's World Cup, and taking a moment from the game right now to spend with us. So I am forever grateful. Hey, Justin.
How are you doing? Thanks for having me on today. I'm very excited, and like you said, I've got France Morocco on right now, so it's a exciting month of soccer for everybody.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
but let's talk basketball.
I know. Let's talk
Yeah.
basketball. Okay, so then let's just jump in. Tell us about your basketball journey.
So I've been doing basketball for about 40 years. That tells you my age.
So
Um,
young.
I started back. I was at Scottsdale Community College, and I was assistant athletic director, sports information director there. And gentleman by the name of Larry Walker had a BCI event there, and BCI is Basketball Congress International, and he asked me if I wanted to work for him. And after a few lunches and whatnot, I decided to experiment the journey and everything, and I lasted 25 years with that group, and it was amazing. Yeah, so that's how I got started. Obviously, people that know me, I'm 5'2". I don't, I played basketball rec and everything, but I just got tired of getting my shots blocked every time. So I figured if I can't play in the NBA, I'm gonna work basketball. So that's what I do.
Okay, so that would lead you into player development because you're really big on that scene.
Yeah, so basically, I started just doing tournaments and leagues. And for those people that don't know, BCI was what on the West Coast, what AAU was on the East Coast. And so we had major tournaments out at ASU. We currently I have about 150 players in the NBA that I saw them when they're 10, 11, 12 years old. So that's where I got the urge and everything to just stay involved with basketball. And my biggest thing is that if they're in the gym, they're off the streets. And now with our culture now, it's if they're in the gym, they're off their phones. But yeah, yeah. So, but that's how it got started. And then I started my Just for Hoopin', which I know you're going to go into that in a
I was
bit.
going to ask you that next. So let's.
Yeah, so then after I was with BCI, I decided that I was just going to start my own little thing here in Arizona because BCI I traveled all around the country, and so I decided I was just going to start my own. So I started a Just for Hoopin'. I had a guy. It was funny because I was at the Mesa YMCA, and I had a guy at the YMCA design my logo, and I think I got him lunch for it, and it's to this day it's still my logo, and everybody knows that Just for Hoopin' is me, JP. They call me JP. So
Mhm.
that's where Just for Hoopin' got started. I did tournaments and leagues for a long time with Just for Hoopin'. I'm trying to just get out of that phase, out of that. And the reason is because I just feel that it's changing of the guards. The younger groups are and the younger directors are coming in, and let them handle the day-to-day stuff.
Yep.
So, but Just for Hoopin' is it's still around. So anytime you see my logo, Just for Hoopin', that's me,
Yep.
JP.
And you have some
Yeah.
stuff going on right now under Just Hooping, right?
Well, I have, yeah, right now I actually, it's not really under Just for Hoopin', but it is Just for Hoopin'.
Okay.
The Piestewa Native Games start tomorrow at AAG, Arizona Athletic Grounds, and we actually have a record 219 teams, and we start at age third grade through adults. I've got 36 guys teams and 26 female teams. So I'm real excited for that. And that's a 3-day event. And it's all at the ground starting tomorrow night at 5 and goes through Sunday to 5. But it's just a great, great event. And
Yep.
that honors Lori Piestewa, who was the native that was killed in Afghanistan 15 years ago. So,
That too.
uh-huh.
That is amazing. So
Yeah.
by the time this episode drops, you guys, but you know what? I might have to leak this reel, because this will drop masterclass Mondays. So, but I think I am gonna have to share this information, definitely some way, shape, or form. You guys, it's Thursday when we're recording this, and I definitely want you to be able to come out and celebrate it. And I mean, 200 plus teams? Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have everybody come out, and Lori's mom and her sons, they all come out and hang out. So it's a blessing, and I'm just honored to be a part of it. So
Amazing, amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so now, so you've transitioned from that because you're saying, changing of the guards and stuff like that, but the changing of the guards, you yourself pretty much has shifted and grown and wear many hats with what we now know, love, and trust, which is grind session. So how did that enter your life?
Okay, so real interesting. So I was at the grounds, AAG,
Hmm.
and I was there for 4 years, and I needed a break. I needed to step away. There was 16 courts. I was there every day. Had 160 teams in the league. It was just long days, so I decided to step away. And no sooner than I stepped away, I got a call from the grind session, and they said we want to bring you on board. And I thought about it, and then I was like, and I originally started out as the director of the junior grind, which we've had some bumps in the road with that, getting it off the ground. But we do have a guy now, Corey, in Kentucky, that's taken over the junior grind, and he's doing a tremendous job. So what I'm doing now is I'm on the grind session with the bigger groups. So I do the contenders conference, the elevation conference,
Yeah.
and then obviously the power conference. So
Okay.
that's where I got involved with the grind. And although it's a lot of travel, I love it because I see top level basketball, both boys and girls, every weekend. And every weekend I'm at a different stop, be it Ontario, Florida,
Yeah,
Kentucky.
you are. Like every
Yeah.
yes, and like you guys, I'm honored because I actually get to see him like when he's here. So when he's here, and I'm like, oh my God, it's hugs and loves, and energy because he's not here that often. Like this is home, but I mean, the grind is real.
When they say it's the grind, it is the grind.
It's
And
real.
and just a little background. So the grind was started like 14 years ago
Okay.
by Dan and Scott. And what it is, it's an international prep league. So we start in August,
Hmm.
and we go from August through March. And we have two divisions. We have an elevation division and then a power conference. The power conference is the top teams, and that's where you have AJ, Darren, McHale, all of those guys. And then we have an elevation conference where teams are trying to play to get in the power conference. And we have in March, we have a world championship. I mean, Canada won the girls division last year, and it's amazing. So last year we sent four teams to Spain during the summer, and in return, they brought one of their Spain team on the grind, and we just got word that they're back on the grind this year. So it's going to be real exciting. And I'm also excited because it looks like we're going to have 24 girls teams on the grind this year.
Are you serious?
Yes, we went from 4 or 5 to 24. It's unbelievable.
Girls, where my girls at? REI, we need a team. REI Prep. I need a girls national team. We need to go to the grind. We need to smash. We need boys. We need to smash. We've already lined it up. Like y'all need to come out. We need to have a team. We need to compete and let's show them how we do it. The junior grind, as he's mentioned, we'll have our middle schoolers play on junior grind. So what is the age range? So junior
So
grind and then
Y-
so
Yeah,
that's
so the
cool.
junior grind, so I'm sorry to interrupt you too, but the junior grind basically was brought on, and that was you basically 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, but
Okay.
we've extended it to the younger kids, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then obviously the elevation and the grind conferences are high school teams, and they're prep teams. So you'll see you got Prolific, you got SEPA, we have Bella Vista's second team, Compass's second team was on it. So it's really really exciting.
Yeah. See, I didn't know it was that young. Ooh, the wheels are turning because we've launched REI Junior, so I can tap into K through 6, and we do have our club as well. So that's interesting. I
Yeah.
we should talk because I knew my middle schoolers, my 7th and 8th graders, but third through 6, okay.
Yeah, we and the goal is that we want to run these junior grinds, and then with doing the junior grind, these kids get an opportunity to go and watch the grind players, be it boys or girls, and then it just gives them more motivation and excites them. And like prime example tonight in the NBA Summer League, you got AJ versus Darren, Washington versus Utah, and those two played in the grind session, and Darren had 61 points and AJ had 49. It was a classic. And that's the only thing you'll hear that all the time is it that was a classic game. So
Yeah, it's still, yeah. It'll be talked about forever because we still talk about it. So with that, so again, you just made it very clear the type of players that come to the grind. You've been around this 40 plus years. What do you feel? What separates good players from elite players? We're Roadrunners Elite Institute, so we want to be the best in all the pathways and everything that we do. What makes you good and what makes you elite? Like what separates you?
that's a great question, and like you said, I've been in it for a long time, and I just feel that the great players are just dedicated. They live, they drink, they sleep basketball, and prime example is Darren Peterson. He just and AJ, and they're phenomenal players, but you see those guys getting up, 500 shots. You don't see them shooting 50 shots and then, calling it a day. You don't see them on their phones. You don't see them, that's what they do. They play basketball and they watch films. And it's funny because I was watching Darren the other day, and he was talking about he was watching Ed Reeves in football on how he was moving and stuff. So yeah, so that to answer your question, that separates the elite to just the average players. That's my feeling.
So then what do you feel that young athletes, like, are there any like particular mistakes that you can point out that you feel that young athletes make that maybe derails them from being on a bigger stage?
I think that in today's culture with basketball, I think that during the summer, kids need to focus on their weaknesses, not their strengths. Because you'll go to a tournament and you'll show your left, you'll show your dunking ability, which is fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, you summertime I feel is where you work on your weaknesses and get stronger on that. And I always tell parents that, if you play in a tournament, and I'm absolutely not bashing tournaments because that's what I do, but
Right,
if you do the math, and let's say Johnny he plays 4 games, and let's say he gets 20 shots up, okay? And that's hypothetical.
right,
That's 80 shots on a
right.
weekend.
Yeah, that's
They
it
should be
though.
shoot,
Like,
they should be shooting 500 to 1,000 shots a day.
so
Hmm.
then how much do you feel, because you're touching on something that I absolutely love, which is habits, rituals, routine. So how much of it, like what does that look like as far as talent versus habits? Like how much do you think ties into it? Like do you feel like it's 50-50? How does that work? Because I immediately started going to Kobe and the Mamba mentality and
Absolutely.
behind the scenes.
Exactly right. And Kobe, bless his heart, was a great example because he was a leader, and he knew what he had to do, and he went out and he shot 1,000 shots a day. He ate right. And that's another thing that I want to address too is that, we have to start looking out for what we're eating and everything. And what frustrates me the most is if I'm in a gym and I see, little Johnny walking in the gym carrying a Coke or a a hamburger, and then he wonders why he's sluggish in the fourth quarter. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
it's what we're putting in our bodies.
Man,
So
I remember when I used to coach. I was head coach for boys and girls track team in Kansas City, and oh my goodness, when I say my runners used to hate seeing me come into the cafeteria, because there would be times I would pick up, I would have a waste basket and I would just walk around and I wouldn't even look at them. I would just see and I'm just grabbing stuff. Like, why are we eating hot Cheetos and pickles and soda? I'm just throwing stuff in the trash can, or if I see it in the hallway, and they, hey, Coach, blah blah blah, I'm snatching stuff. What are you doing? And they like looking, and it just became habit where it was like one, they didn't even hide it because it didn't matter because I think the mom tennis come on. I saw it before you even tried to hide it, but also it switched gears and habits because it was like, okay, maybe I don't have, because they did. They were sluggish, throwing up. It like practices were horrible. So imagine like an actual race day or game day or even on the field. So yeah, nutrition
I
for me
see
is a big one.
I see it every weekend in the gym, and to add on to that point, if you talk about the four best players in soccer, you talk about Messi, you talking about Cristiano, you talk about Holland, you talk about Lamine. Look at what those guys do with their eating, their mentality, their workouts. Those are elite athletes, and we have those same athletes on the basketball court as well, you know. So, but once again, I think it's real important that your body, if you're aching and whatnot, your body's telling you something, you
Right
know.
there. Yeah.
So you have to take care of your body, because if you don't take care of your body, then you're not going to be in good shape when you're older.
Right. You got to fuel and you got to recover. Like,
Yep.
period. But also, like you said, listen and pay attention to your body. So we talked about training and practices. Now, here's my thing. If you are, because you're at a lot of stuff and you've seen them go the distance, you've seen some, you're like, and you've seen room. If you're out of practice, you walk into a practice, you're there 15 minutes in that, because right, because in 15 minutes you can 10 to 15 minutes you can kind of tell who you want to watch, who you want to look. What is it that you see? How can you tell whether someone has a future in basketball? What are the things that you see in that first 15 minutes?
So last week I was in Albuquerque for a grind
Okay.
session camp,
Uh-huh.
and my biggest take is that you'll see the gym rats, the ones that when you give them a 15-minute break and they're not on their phones, they're not, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They're either shooting the basketball, they're either holding the basketball in the stands, they're not joking around. And I'm not saying it's not bad to have fun, but that's how I tell that this player, boy or girl, is gonna, get to the next level. Is because, like I said, you have to be 24/7. It's a grind, and you have to be, you have to want it, and you have to work on what you need to work on. So many times I see kids, in the gym, and they're dunking. Okay, great, you can dunk, but show me your mid range, you know,
Ooh.
show me your left hand,
Ooh. Hmm.
because I know you can dunk. Mm-hmm.
But are you going to
So
get that every opportunity? Are you a team player? Do you communicate? Do you open up your mouth on the court? Like, do they know you're there? I mean, are you respectful and manful? Sportsmanship. Like, what is your demeanor? If you miss a shot and your head is down and your body's slumped, you're so in the moment of, oh, woe is me, and you're not back down the court, and now they're dunk, right? Like,
exactly right.
yeah,
Exactly right. Yep.
yeah.
And like we said earlier, you're going to see these youngsters that are jumping into the NBA and even the college, that there's some players that are just phenomenal, because they know the game, they know the court, they know the surroundings, their teammates. So, and that's basically, when I go in a gym, I can pick out the top 5 stars right away, you know. Mhm.
So, okay. So then let's stay in this recruiting bubble. That's kind of where we're at right now. So, parent thinks exposure equals recruiting. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, I want to say yes and no. I think that now in our game in all sports, I think that we're leaning towards more of the clicks. You know, the guys and the girls are trying to get the clicks and whatnot. So I'm to the point where you know I'll give you an example. So we had the All-Star game last week in Albuquerque, and you know they asked me, well, who's the MVP? And I went out in the huddle with everybody and read out the stats. And I said, everybody's the MVP. And they all looked at me and I said, that's how it is. Everybody's the MVP. Everybody was happy because I didn't have to select somebody and then have the parents say, oh, well, you know, Johnny always gets the award and whatnot. So, but to answer your question, I think that the parents, the players now have to focus a lot on their individual stuff, their workouts, as well as their social media. You know, getting clips, and I'm not talking about clips where you're dunking it or you're shooting it half court. Those clips, if I'm a college coach, that's not what I'm looking
It's dime
for.
a dozen.
You know,
Everybody's doing it.
and everybody's doing it now.
Right.
Everybody's doing it now.
Right.
And you know, but that's just the way that our culture is going with social media. So,
So then
but college coaches,
what type of clips do you want to see? Or what type of clips do you think they should put out there then?
they should put so what you do is, and now all the events now have cameras, Baller TV, Synergy,
Which we
all of that
use. Yep.
stuff. Yeah. So what you want to do as a player, and I want to say parent, but I want to put the you know onus on the player, that the player should be going through and looking at tapes and putting together tapes that show what they are doing on the court. You know,
Yeah.
and then you put a reel together, and then you have that in your library in case a college coach reaches out to you and says, hey, you know, let me know about yourself, tell me about a little bit more about you, and then you have that you know, to back yourself up.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go kind of by classification, grades, whatnot. Right now, what does and we're just gonna hit the different grades. What do you feel a freshman should be doing in order to be recruited?
I think that a freshman needs to make sure that one, he's got all his classes he needs to graduate on time. Okay. And everybody has counselors at the school. So literally you need to, if you're a freshman, you need to, and you're really dedicated and you want to get to the next level, that's got to be the number one thing. Know your SATs, know when all that stuff is due, when you can take it, how many times you can take it.
I like how you went there. So a freshman, right out the gate, before you even think sports, you need to make sure your academic plan is in order to get you through your 4 years.
Absolutely. It's like a business plan. You put a business plan together and you say this is what I'm going to do, and you set goals. And that way when you're a senior, you're not saying, "Oh, I've got to go to summer school and take, you know, two classes because I, you know, didn't take."
Now you can't travel, do tournaments and stuff like that, or etc., or whatnot, or exposure. Okay, so now freshman year is happening. Sophomore.
Sophomore, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you're hitting the weights, and you're hitting the obviously you're practicing more with, I want to say, by yourself, because in that way you get the idea where you're in a gym and you're shooting, nobody's pressuring you, and you can work on what you need to work on, you know. And back in the day growing up, you know, we used to play basketball in the parks. And I always tell parents, the best thing to do is take your son or daughter, take them to a park and have them play against adults.
Yeah, and there's so
and
much.
that's where
Yep.
they learn. And I'll give you a prime example. I mean, Rinaldi Vicente, who was a legend at ASU, went on to play with the WNBA, the Mercury. She was from Window Rock, and you know what? She played outside. She was dribbling, and there was rocks on the court, and she learned that when that ball got out of hand, it wasn't because a defender was reaching; it was because there was a rock on the ground. And that's why she was so phenomenal, um, growing up.
Love it. Makes so
Mhm.
much sense. Okay, so now I'm a junior. What am I doing
Junior,
now?
you want to make sure that your classroom is make sure that your grades are all up to date on that. That's the biggest thing, junior. Obviously, you want to start doing your videos, okay?
Mm, okay.
And then also too, you're gonna start, and I want to say start eating right, but you should be eating right from day one.
Period.
So,
Period.
eliminate the junk food, and trust me, I'm not a saint on that. I mean, I got to lose a few pounds as well, but I'm not trying to get to the NBA. So,
But now
um,
we're tightening up our routine.
exactly right. Exactly right. And then by junior year, you're obviously gonna be on the circuit, which, and when I say circuit, there's, you got Nike, you got Adidas, you got Puma, you got Made Hoops, you got the Grind, you got all these circuits, and people, they compare them, blah blah blah. I just think that there's some really good circuits and there's some average circuits, but at the end of the day, you have to be ready to. You're going to be traveling. You're going to be living
Mm,
out of a suitcase.
hmm
You're going to be where you're not with your family. Okay, so you have to be very, very mindful of who you're around. Because there's a lot of people out there that are in it for the wrong reason, and then there's a ton of people that are in it for the right reason. And like I said, I've been in the game for 40 some years, and I see something every weekend. So, yeah. So that's your junior year. To answer your question, you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you're starting to get your highlights, make sure you are lifting, and you're working on your weaknesses. That's
Yeah.
the key.
Yeah. I
We
think one of
have to work on
the
our
important things you
weaknesses.
said that I like with that is starting to transition and understand the transition of being, I don't want to say alone in the journey, but again, this is where, like you said, now you're traveling more, your family is around a little bit less on the more like readiness and access. Because if you're looking to go D1 or just go off to college, right? They don't go with you, unless you stay home. But even then, if you're in a program like this, is really that transition where if basketball is what you're going to do, you're real, like you said, you're tightening up the schedule. You got a work life balance, meaning, you know, work is school and basketball. Life, you gotta live, you gotta recover, you gotta eat well, you gotta rest. You still gotta find socialization, right? That's healthy. And like you said, there's some that's in it for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. So being able to even identify your circle and your support and your network, right, on and off the field. So I think that was really cool. Okay, so now I'm a senior. Everybody know who I am. Maybe they don't know yet, so I need them to know yet. Like what? I'm a senior. What's that look like? What should they be doing?
Yeah, so now once again, you're a senior, so now you're going to start getting phone calls. You're going to start getting letters from coaches, and the biggest thing is you have to realize, and I've always been for this. D1, D2, D3, it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody thinks that, oh, I got to go D1, or it's not. D1 is there's a lot of athletes from every sport that have played in D2 JUCO that have gone on and been very successful. So don't set your mind on you got to be D1, and especially with the NIL deal, and I don't like to talk a lot about the NIL deal because it's a gray area, but now, you got kids that are going to school for 1 year, then they're jumping ship and going to another one, and they're working the system for the NIL deals. So you also have to take that into account too, is that, what you're looking to do, and what you're looking to gain out of it. But I also think it's real important. And when I talk to people in the gym about, and they come up to me and say, "Hey Jay, Connecticut's looking at me," I always see how the family is. And what I mean by that is that if you're real close with your family and you're connected, then you're not going to be able to go to New York and play basketball and get away from your family. You'll be homesick. You'll be homesick. And it's a proven fact that if I've grown up in Arizona and I've lived in Arizona all my life, no snow, and then all of a sudden I get recruited by, a team in New York, and I jump out there, first snowstorm, I'm calling mom saying, I don't like this. So you have to look at your region and everything. And I'll give you a prime example. Koa Pete. Koa Pete's a great player that, played in Arizona, stayed in Arizona. He's very, very close with his family. He's got an amazing family. Went to U of A, and now he's part of the Suns program. And that's so phenomenal because now his dad, Todd Pete, who played for the Cardinals, he doesn't have to travel. He can stay home and watch his son play.
Right.
And I'm real excited for that situation. But back to your seniors, you have to realize that now the college coaches, they're looking at you. Okay. And I tell people, when I go and I have speeches and everything, I tell the kids, be careful what you put on social media, because it does not go away. It does
Right.
not go away. And
People
I'm a college,
screenshot the whole line.
yeah, and I'm a college coach, and I go in the gym, and I know you can score 40. Okay. I want to know what you're doing off the field. I don't want to see you on your phone at 1 o'clock in the morning texting people, because is that what you're going to do when you're on my team? Are you going to be on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning? So you have to be really careful. And
Yep.
coaches, they go in the gym, and they know what you can do. I'm looking for the individuals that pick the players up, that motivate on the bench, not the ones that are ripping their jerseys off after the game and throwing them on. And trust me, I see it every weekend. I see it every weekend. And I'll pull a young man to the side and say, "Look, hey, I'm just giving you a little tip. All these games are being videoed."
Do the same thing. I
And
I do the
and
same thing.
and the coach knows you can score 40, but you need to keep your jersey on, and you need to shake hands.
Hmm.
And so that's the seniors. You have to be the leader. Yep.
Like yes. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
So okay, so now here's the thing. So REI Prep, I've made it a point to make sure that not only are we a school that supports student athletes, of course we have student athletes, we have our digital athletes and sports careers, but also that we're college prep, like that we are ready for those who take that route. Because again, it, different paths, different choices. Just choose wisely and choose a positive path, right? Like I said, I say it time and time again to my oldest son, brilliant mind, very athletic, IQ is ridiculous, phenomenal point guard, Navy, engineering. You know what I mean? It's just so you just don't know. So with that being said, how important these days do you feel grades are? There's a shift, there's a change today in today's world, today's recruiting. What coaches and programs are looking for, are grades important?
I think grades are absolutely important. I know that now, a lot of these players are going on and playing 1 year and then going on to the next level. But I just think that every kid should go to junior college first. do JUCO first. And the reason is I went to Scottsdale Community College. I went to JUCO, went from JUCO to ASU, graduated Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. Now, I wasn't a sports guy, but the JUCO level gave me an opportunity to, my classes were from 100, 200 people at the university. I started with smaller classes. So I was able to adjust to the culture change. And it's a big change.
It is. It is.
College and high school is a huge change, you
Yes.
know? So I think that these kids and now the JUCOs are really starting to build
They got
up.
programs. Oh, they
Yeah,
not playing. They're not playing. Even post grad, because we have a post grad team. So that post grad, that little window, and then going to JUCO, because they're developing.
yep.
They're developing.
Absolutely. Yep. And they're learning the college life. They're learning that, okay, you're going in and you're not. I mean, I remember when I first went on campus at ASU, I was scared. I was like, well, I don't think I can handle this. And then I ended up, going to SCC, Scottsdale Community College, and it was a smaller JUCO at the time, and it just it did what it needed to do for me to get to the next level.
A beautiful transition. Like
Yeah.
it just yeah, it helps. Like I said, it's however you do it. Because like even again going back to my guys, I have one who going military route, and then the other, he's I mean, he also is looking at engineering. He's looking at electrical engineering, but also he's thinking, okay, college, union, you know what I mean? So it's figuring out, so that's their craft. So apparently I got a couple of engineers, love it. But again, it's figuring out what's the best route for you. And long as you obtain the goal and you take a positive route, it is what it is. But again, quality, right? Support, network, and do it how you need to. Sometimes a 4-year university is not the best. It might be a trade school. It might be JUCO, and if you still want to play, just figure out how that works for you.
Absolutely. And I tell all of my and I don't want to say clients because I don't have clients, but I tell everybody that find your passion and get paid for it. Find what you love to do and get paid for it.
Yeah,
Now in today's society, I mean, you can make money doing anything, you
you
know?
do. You
And
really can. Which, yeah, yeah,
and that's what I'm saying is find your passion. And if it's basketball, it's basketball. If it's football, it's football. If it's flying helicopters, it's flying helicopters.
right.
And I think trade schools are absolutely phenomenal,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because trade schools are hands on. You
Yep.
you learn out a book, you learn from a book, but you're hands on every day. It's hands on training.
Yeah, and that's why I love that you say that because that's one of the big things. So again, with my experience and my background, I've been in education decades. I've built schools pre-K to graduate school, right? But I've been in public and private. But I myself am I'm a hands-on learner. I'm a visual learner. So I love trade school. It is. So that was one of the things. That's why the even with REI, like our motto is after that. Because I was like, the high schools I feel that are being successful are the ones that are tapping into the passion. So it's like, oh, you want to do cosmetology. Oh, you want to be a dental hygienist or, dentistry, or you want welding or auto mechanics or HVAC. Well, there's a whole group of people who, and I see it and I work with them, that love data and stats and sports stats, who love interviewing and broadcasting and love marketing and love designing merch and love management and love sports and working with brands and all of those things and not sports related. So I was like, then why can't we do that? I was like, why can't we have a
Absolutely.
school that's focuses on sports on and off the court? Like again, if you're passionate in sports and maybe your IQ is ridiculous and you see the game and you can coach and you can communicate and you can fire up the passion, then you're a coach. Maybe you love the X's and O's and how to execute and how to bring quality to a game, so you want to officiate. You love nutrition. You love, because some people, you know the game, but you're 5'2" and you're like, this is not going to happen. So you
And
build, and we're
and that's
like the grind session, right? Like that, you can do that. Like you guys, y'all can be JP. I mean, you can't be
exactly
JP
right.
because it's only one JP, but you can be JP.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, growing up, I wanted to be in the NBA. Well, if 5'2", that ain't gonna happen. So then I found my passion, which is basketball, and I turned it into a career. And now I travel every weekend. I mean, I'm in Ontario,
With
I'm in
elite players,
Kentucky,
elite
and
level
and I
play.
see exactly right. And I see elite players, and I'm also getting to see the country, which is
Yeah.
another thing that, I
Overseas
mean,
hoop is everything to me.
I love traveling and I mean, there, when I went to Ontario, it snowed in Ontario, and I'm an Arizona guy. I'm not a snow guy. And I had to drive a rental car. Okay. So now, that, okay, you talk about the grind and you talk about staying focused. Well, you know, I stayed focused so I wasn't in that Erie River.
I've had my snow. I've had many of my battles with it. I tell people Boston broke me. Like I did Midwest. I thought I knew winter until I moved to Boston. I was like, well, what is this? This is just downright rude.
I I was in Ohio. I was in Ohio at Spooky Nook. I couldn't even open my door in the car because it was so frozen. But it was a it was a
It's,
great
it
experience,
is. It is.
and you hear all about these, you hear all about these facilities that are popping up, and then I get to actually go and step foot in them, and just it's amazing. So, and like I said, the grind, we start August play-in tournament,
So
and then,
excited to participate. Like whatever that looks like. We
well,
will
and
grow,
just
continue to grow with y'all.
yeah, and just so you know, the grind session, we last season in LA, we did a grind session with the NBA Players Association, and it
Look
was
at that.
unbelievable. So now every year there's a grind, there's an NBA All-Star. They want grind there,
And
and it
All
just
Star this year, y'all, it's gonna be in
is in,
Phoenix this season. So right.
and right now, yep, and right now we've already got. I'm working on a couple gyms in Scottsdale for the Power Conference, and then I've got the American Sports Center in Avondale for the Junior
Yep.
Grind
Yep.
and the Elevation Conference. So,
Yeah.
and that is February 18th through 21.
And you
So,
guys, my Hoopers, we're playing, we're participating. We've already got the green light. JP said we can participate. CJ said we can participate. We playing, but better yet, here's the thing: if you are interested in working in sports in any way, shape, or form in some type of environment, guess what? We can work with them. Y'all can be behind the scenes on, you can help put this event on. Talking about something to put on your resume, the fact that you helped put on an NBA All-Star event. Come on, y'all.
yep.
Where they do that at?
And
REI
it's
Prep.
and it's fun,
I
it's
can't wait.
fun,
It's about to
you
be
know.
a doozy. I'm gonna be over there with JP, y'all. Y'all can hoop. You can shoot the hoop. I'll be over there with JP and say we're gonna put on a show. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna engage. We're gonna be with the families. It's about it's
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I was, oh, yeah. Because it as soon as they announced it, like I already started getting hit up. They were like, Debrina, can you speak? Debrina, can you be at this? And I'm like, please hold REI prep first, and then I can filter out wherever y'all need me. But and it's the extension. So grind session, yes. What are we doing? ASU, what are we doing? Again, these are our partners. The YMCA, whether whoever else we can bring in, definitely community. But it's gonna be a doozy. I mean, they've done it already before, and you know how that goes. I mean, we just had the women's um in Final Four for the NCAA. That was fun. I was a speaker, professional mentor with that. That was amazing. Again, seeing all the young college students who are interested in sports careers. and then we had the year before the WNBA All Star was here, right? And then yeah, this is Super Bowl was here. Hey, hey, we not playing out here. I, I'm
Yeah, and
I'm
and
Fred, but ACs they acting like they know how to host some sports.
Arizona has a few prep teams that are phenomenal. Bella Vista
They
won the
do.
national championship.
We
AZ
coming for you,
Compass
but
is Lotus,
they do.
Dream
Yeah.
City. I
Yes.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's up and coming,
Yeah.
and like I said, basketball is $1 billion industry, and it's not going away.
Say that one more time, please.
Basketball is $1 billion industry, and it is not going away.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's on and off the court.
Yep, absolutely.
On and off the court. Okay, so then let's not go anywhere. So the future of basketball, how how do you feel like it has changed in the last 5 years?
I think it's changed. I mean, good and bad. I mean, back in the day, when there was no internet and social media, it was you had big groups running events, but now with social media and everything, you have mom and pops that are running tournaments in league, which it's not bad, but it's so saturated,
I was gonna say it
and
dilutes it.
now you have the shoe companies involved, and they all have their own circuit, and you got to play on their circuit, and I'm not knocking the circuits, because I head out in 2 weeks to Chicago for the Nike TOC, and I kind of am game day on that with them, and that's 88 courts under one roof. It's amazing.
You guys, if his luggage gets heavy, it's because I'm in it.
I walked last year. I walked 97,000 steps. That's almost 3 marathons. Yeah, in 5 days. So,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So
yep.
then,
So to sum up your question,
uh,
basketball's changed. I think that the NIL has changed it tremendously.
and
Now
that's what you
kids.
touched on already, NIL,
Yeah,
transfer portal, and stuff like that.
yeah, and now you have coaches going different places. And my biggest thing is that when I go into a gym, I see kids on different teams every weekend, and that's a
Hey,
tough loyalty.
hey.
Loyalty to me is huge, and and that's you're getting where kids, and you can't blame them. If I'm getting $12 million to play on your team for a year, I'm not gonna say no, I can't do that. So, but yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So now here's a fun one because we come from the era of pagers
Yes.
and block cell phones and
Yep.
the suitcase and stuff. Today's age is different, right? So the access, like you already keep saying, like the social media and access. What are your thoughts? Do you use it? Don't use it? Have you guys grown with it? Where are your thoughts on a few different things? AI, analytics, and also positionless basketball. That's a few things, but it kind of ties in because I feel like the positionless basketball is it affects the analytics, right? And your data. And then of course AI just exposes any and all things. So where touch on that.
Okay.
Talk
Okay. So,
talk
so
to it,
I,
Jason.
so I'm old school. So back in the day when I did BCI, we didn't have internet. So I literally, in Dallas, we had 25 gyms. So I drove around. All I did was drive around all day and fill out brackets. So internet, when the internet came, they said that it wasn't going to work, and obviously it's worked very well. AI now, you better be able to adapt to AI, because AI is coming, and it's coming quicker than we know it. So my biggest thing, and you see even in Arizona, you see all of these data centers that are being built. Data centers are being built.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is people need to realize is that they need humans to tell AI what to do.
There it is.
So right there, that tells me that if I'm going to get education, I'm going to get in a field where I'm working to tell AI how to function and everything. So that's AI. AI is going to be here. It's coming fast, and it's going to get bigger, bigger, bigger. So you better adapt to it. So that's to answer that question.
Okay.
The next one, the analytical. I just think that everybody's so now into the analytics from friggin' lottery to everything's analytical. I mean, even soccer, they've got the chip in the soccer ball. I don't know if people know that, but they got a chip in the soccer ball. I think that I think in a few years you're probably going to see computer refs for basketball.
Yeah.
That's what. Yep.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So that there again, the analytics. I mean, it's there's pros and cons. I mean, it's still. I don't want to say it's at an early age, but more people are using the analytics now to answer questions and everything. So I think that once again with AI, I think that that's only going to get better, bigger, and as it gets bigger, it's going to get better. We had a situation in the World Cup where the ball went off one of the guys' heads and it was an offsides, and it ended up the analytics read it from the wrong player, so they lost the goal. So but basketball, I do think there are basketballs though that have
Yeah.
the
They're there.
chips in them. So
Yep.
yeah, uh-huh,
Yeah, they're there.
yeah,
So that's the cool thing because I do see, and again, my thing is I'm a firm believer in using AI as a tool and a resource, not to replace your humanistic person, if that makes any sense. Like, again, like you
absolutely,
said, a human still has to tell it what to do, feed it what to do, how to behave. It still has to learn and adapt from what it gets from us. But yeah, use it as a tool and resource. So that's something that we have. Will teach how to use, how to understand it, and we've also created. Yeah, I created our own AI lab so that players know how to utilize it for better player development, exposure, recruiting, behavior, etc. Not to do your homework. You hear me?
exactly
Not
right,
not to do
exactly
your
right.
homework, but how to even just how to better package yourself and present yourself so that you can get recruited, so that you can get exposed. Maybe how to understand your nutrition, how to make a fitness plan. Like there's your everyday tools that you can use it for.
Yes,
Right.
yep.
And for analytics. Okay. So positionless basketball. Oh my word.
So I'm not real, to be honest with you, I'm old school, so I'm not really in tune to what that is and what that's leading to. So I mean, give me a little bit of insight, and then I'll run with it on that
I
I
mean, I just
know.
take it as it's just the player who just I don't want to say does everything, but it's just you have five guards, but they're playing
Yeah,
all type of, you know what I mean? Like I mean LeBron, hello. Like we call him a center? Do we call him a center? Do we call him guard? Like who what
it, yeah, I think that like you said, I think that number system will eventually go away. We always
like a
growing up,
two
we all know
guard and a
one's guard, two's shooting guard, three's wing, four's power forward, five
and,
center.
and
I
that's what we're
think that
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I think that eventually that's going to go away, and the reason is because now you're getting so many athletes, especially the foreign athletes that
Yes.
you got a Wimby that's 7'4" that can pull up and nail a three anytime. You got a Dirk Nowitzki who was phenomenal,
For
and
Dirk.
yeah.
I was in Texas when Dirk was playing.
Yeah, and no, those guys are just, the level of basketball is just it's incredible. And for those of you, if you get a chance tonight, watch the AJ Darren shoot off in the NBA summer league, because that Darren Peterson is phenomenal. And I know he's playing against guys that might not make the squad, but I'm telling you, anytime you can come in and score 28, 25 in a game, and he just does it so smooth. And I'm excited to watch AJ tonight and see what he does, because he's tremendous on the court as well. And both those guys, along with Mikhail Brown, they were on the grind session, so I saw them every other weekend. Yeah.
So let me ask you, because I know why I feel the answer is for us, but I'm new to ish it. But why does the grind session matter?
The grind session matters because it puts you on a level where you're playing with top competition every game. So every game, every weekend, you have to be on your game to compete at that level. These are elite athletes that are competing. We start the first week in Kentucky. We have a playing with 32 teams. Those 32 teams are playing, eight of those teams are playing a spot to get on the power conference. And the power conference is the top conference. That's where you have Prolific, you have SEPA, you have DME, and those guys, when you're battling every weekend and you're playing against top players, it raises your game. And I'm talking about the men's and the women's side.
Right.
It absolutely raises your game, because now you can't take a night off. You're grinding.
So like you're mentioning AJ, Darren, and I mean the list of elite players that have come out of and that have participated in the grind session is long, and it will continue to grow because of what has been built. But in that in between, so from playing today on the grind and NBA, that in between, what opportunities come out of playing in the grind session?
And that's a great question. So if I'm an average player and I'm playing against top elite players every weekend, one, it's gonna my game is gonna improve, and also two is the people out there watching, the scouts, the coaches. There's always a diamond in the rough. I
Right.
mean, every weekend on the grind, I see kids that are like, "Oh, wow, this young man or this young lady can make it to the next level." And the grind gives those players an opportunity to compete in the same arena with the top tier players.
And that's something we haven't really even touched on. Like the grind, it really is just it is on a player level, competitive level. Yes, it is top tier, right? But it doesn't matter if it's not exposed or if it's not seen. So we haven't even touched on who is watching, who pays attention to these players in the grind session. Yes, who's looking at them? Who do y'all have?
So basically, we have our owner owns a software company, and we have our own TV channel. And so we I'm trying to get the right word. We broadcast every game, the power conference games. We broadcast those live. So we bring in a TV production crew. We bring in announcers. We bring in stats. So we're just, and like I said, we're building momentum. We're doing, we've got some really good athletes this year. We're going to have top teams on the power conference. And the biggest thing is that just getting out there. As you can see, I'm wearing my grind session, and I wear my grind. Yeah, exactly. This is free advertisement. And when somebody comes up to me, like in the airport, and says, "Hey, what's the grind session?" Now I'm able to spend 5, 10 minutes or whatever and explain it. And like you said earlier, that the hands-on for me, I need to shake somebody's hand. I
Right.
need to give somebody a hug
Yes.
rather than call them on the phone.
Yes.
But with that being said, on the grind, we've been around for about 14 years, and we've had DeAndre Ayton played. Pablo on Magic played. We've had some phenomenal players, and we've had some players that have gone on and been doctors and
Sure.
lawyers.
It's still been
So
successful. Yeah.
exactly right. And the grind session, in the name, it fits it well, because when you're on the team, and you're having to travel, and you're having to get up in the morning and practice, and you're having to pack your luggage, and you're having to brush your teeth, and you're having to go have dinner, it's an absolute grind. But it's teaching young men and women about life. That's what it's doing.
It is, and I love it because it fits. That's why, like, we fit perfect because the synergy is the same, and that's the whole one. That's also why we were established. It was to be able to create a college prep educational platform for elite students, but also that's again where that exposure comes in for the different pathways as far as sports careers, because that allows, guess what? I can now bring a travel crew, right? I can teach you how to travel with a team, how to help manage a team, how to document a team, how to be there. You don't have to be just on the court or on the roster to travel and to go and experience this, because if that's the life you want to do, coach, be part of the coaching staff as a student coach and whatnot. Like, those are the type of opportunities we want to be able to create. But again, like you said, it's different when you're in the grind session, which for me is why I felt it's very important that that's where we want to be, because again, we want elite players, but that's on and off the court, and it is different. So having online education makes it possible. Having uh, an athletic academic coordinator travel with the team to make sure grades and stuff are happening before and after practices and dinners and et cetera, and grades are still on point instead of waiting for days when you get back and miss deadlines. Like, no, we're not playing that, because again, like we've already discussed, grades do matter. If you don't have a grade, you can't play. Like,
Absolutely.
that's just like, I think players keep forgetting that. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's this thing called eligibility. So if you're
Hmm.
looking to go on any level, one, in grade school, right? You still got to be eligible grade wise to play. But then if you go to the college, if your GPA is not there, who cares how great you are? Because another thing that I've noticed, and schools and programs are proud of this, is the collective GPA. They will
Oh,
show
absolutely.
as a team our collective GPA. All of our players collectively has a GPA, so you can't be the player that brings that cumulative GPA down for the team.
Well, exactly right. And there's colleges that get funding for that. If your
Let's
program, your basketball program is top level, you're getting funding for that.
mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And people don't
So
understand. Like, if you feel like you want to learn and understand the game, understand what you're doing and what you're part of. Because I promise you, it is always bigger than the ball. It's always bigger than just playing ball. There's so much more that goes into it. Even with my guys with the men's basketball, I tell them it's there's great hoopers everywhere, right? For me, are you a great business decision? That's
and that's the thing, is one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to be able to dunk that basketball. One day you're going to wake up and you're not going to be able to shoot the rock. You better have a plan B.
you better,
You better have a plan B.
man. Let me
Yep.
tell you. Okay, this was just good. We can go on and on and on about this. We'll definitely be back. We'll definitely have to touch base, but I need to let you get back to the lovely game of football.
France, Morocco. Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure to spend an hour with you. So, and anytime you need anything from me, you know where to find me.
Okay, so here's my fun part, lightning round.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's see. The hardest worker you've ever seen in the game of basketball.
Kobe Bryant.
Ah, the most underrated basketball skill.
Ugh. Underrated basketball skill.
I know.
NBA?
Period. Just basketball. Period. In basketball, what's the most
Okay.
underrated skill that like something you should have, but people don't even think that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Um, your left hand. Going with your left hand. Left
Oh,
hand. Yep.
right. Ooh, I like that one. Something about a southpaw or just being able to use it. Yes, definitely, definitely. The best advice you've ever received.
Best advice I've ever received, and this might sound funny, but make your bed in the morning. That's the best advice.
That is
Every morning I get up, I make my bed because that sets the stage and the tempo for my day.
good.
Because
Uh,
I've completed my first chore of the day.
I
Yeah.
like that. I've already.
Oh yeah. I am big on that. So yes.
All right.
Hopefully that was the answer you
No,
wanted.
yeah,
So
that's a
okay.
good one. That's a
Okay.
great one, I think.
Okay.
Here's one. If you can change one thing about youth basketball, what would it be?
Parents. Parents.
Woo!
It's just
Again, that's why we have support and we are going to love and teach and hug our parents and let them, yes, understood and trust me, message received as a parent and someone who's working in education and in sports and Lord Jesus, yes, the parents. All right,
And oh, can I add on to that? So
yes,
just so you know, in today's basketball realm and world, as you can see, you go into facilities like AAG that has 16 courts. Now parents are closer to the courts, and now they're closer to officials. Where now that's where you have your and I don't want to say problems, issues, but now if I'm official, I can hear that parent yelling at me as opposed to back in the day where they were up in the stands. And I
that's
think
true.
I think that goes for all events. Is I think that they're just, we're at convention centers and whatnot, and the parents are just so close to the floor now, and
Yeah.
and
They're on the
it makes,
floor.
yeah, they're on the floor. So yeah. All
Okay.
right, next question.
Okay. Do you have a favorite gym?
Favorite gym? I'm gonna say I really like in Arizona, or
No, you've been all over the world. Favorite gym?
yeah, I really liked Ridley College in Ontario, Canada. Yeah.
Ooh.
The campus was unbelievable. Driving into it, it was amazing, and then you walk in, it was really neat. Now, Spire in Ohio is another facility that's a monster.
Okay.
And that, yeah, uh-huh.
Uh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Favorite basketball movie?
Ooh, white man can't jump. I'll watch that movie any day. Yes,
Facts, facts.
I
Ooh,
love it.
all right. Here's a classic one.
Okay,
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it to you though. You ready?
yeah.
Kobe or Jordan?
You can't put me in that. You can't put me in that. I'm a big Jordan fan, obviously, just because of what he's done for the game. Kobe Bryant is phenomenal. And it's tough because when somebody says who the GOAT is, I mean, you really can't, because there's so many people out there, players out there, and you ask me straight up, who do you think the best player is? I think Dr. J, Julius Irving.
Oh, okay.
Head and
There we go.
head and shoulders. Head and shoulders. Now people will question me and say, "Well, why is that? Why is that?" Well, because that's my thought. You could go. You could go Bill Russell, you could go Larry Bird, you could go, LeBron James. All of those guys are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They just have different they have different
Yeah,
aspects,
that's my thing
you
with that
know?
question. I low key, I can't stand that question because they're two different people. They
They're too
brought two
different.
different things to the game. They brought excellence and elite and a whole level, yes, a mentality, but they're still their own person. Like,
Exactly right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause
Yep.
I'm a huge AI fan, not as in artificial intelligence, but as in Allen Iverson. Thank you very much, Trey. Let's go.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was a phenomenal player. He'll never be in the conversation of the GOAT though, you know?
yeah,
But he was phenomenal.
yeah.
I mean, you got Magic Johnson who, 6'8" guard could do anything with the basketball.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a positionless player.
Exactly right.
That
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
epitome of wait, you can do what and what and what? Oh, oh man,
Yeah.
and the athleticism. Oh, oh, and then again,
And
going back to what you do after the game. The man is a pillar in the community, and then even now, like y'all, the way he is continuing to change sports and support it is y'all need to know. Just look at what the man's doing. Just look what the man's doing. So okay,
yeah.
okay,
And there's a handful of guys that are in the same boat with him that are just doing phenomenal
yes,
after their careers are over
yeah.
and they've gone on to but that's what going back, one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to be able to dunk, so you better have a plan B.
What are you doing? Okay, so
Yep.
who's the player everyone should be watching right now?
It- it- Everybody should be watching. Oh, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go a young one. I'm going to go Beckham Black. Beckham Black is a sophomore, going to be a junior. He plays on SEPA. He's from Dallas.
Okay,
He is a phenomenal player. Yes,
okay,
absolutely. He's my guy. Yep. Yep.
okay.
And they just won was it the 18 and under, 17 and under world championships?
Yeah,
Yeah. They
yeah.
just they ran away with it. So,
Okay,
yeah. Yeah.
there it is, y'all. And then we gotta close properly. Advice to parents. What what do they need to hear? What should they stop doing? What should they start doing? Those three things. What do they need to hear? What do they need to stop doing? And what do they need to start doing? Talk to them.
I think as a parent, after the game, and this is more towards the youth side. After the game, let your kids digest the game rather than tell them what they did wrong and tell them how to correct it. Let them adjust to their what they did in the game, and then talk to them. And like back in the day, I always told parents that after the game, don't go up to the coach and complain that your kid didn't play enough or whatnot. That's what practice is for. After the games, and some of these coaches, they'll be after the game 20, 30 minutes talking to the kids. That what you need to do is after the game, you need to congratulate them, win or lose, and say, hey, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're stretching, make sure you go to sleep. Give your mom and dad a hug because they're spending their time need to just make sure that the kids are they're stretching right and they're eating right. I mean, some of these kids, they'll go out and they haven't stretched at all, and all of a sudden, Johnny gets hurt and they wonder why. And I talk to trainers. I talk to trainers every weekend, and
Yep.
that's the biggest thing is that the kid wonders why he pulled his hamstring, and
At
at the end of
12.
the day, and he did because he didn't stretch.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that. Okay, now what was the third?
Let's see.
Okay.
Stop. Oh, wait. So what they need to hear, stop and start. Start doing, stop doing. And here, you kind of covered it all, though.
I think I covered it all.
Yeah, you covered it Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I love it. So one of the things, I mean, again, that we're really passionate about here is not just basketball, but what to do afterwards. Thank you very much for touching on that because that's something that's very important with us with REI Prep, um, and showing and showcasing what that can look like as well as someone who's still um, close, very, very close to the elite level of basketball, without even picking up a ball, right? You are
Exactly.
impacting and changing lives. So thank you. As far as I'm concerned, with people like AJ and whatnot, you are still in the NBA because you're a part of the process of getting them there, right? So that I think that was one of the things I used to love when I got offered the position to be an admissions director at my charter school when I was in Kansas City. I was going to be a middle school math teacher, then things changed, and then I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. So I can go from not just having 30 kids to all the kids. We had a population of about 1,000 kids, and it was like, it went from being able to make a smaller impact, which I thought, to being able to make a larger impact and have ties to the community and businesses. So, in my eyes, that's what I see with you. So you're not an individual player who plays on the NBA team and make your part as that. You're part of the bigger picture and feeding and growing and developing those players that we will have. So thank you, and I appreciate that, and definitely teaching them to keep the grind going.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed my time with you.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, we are going to officially, yes, let this man get back to it. Get back to it. Thank you. Uh, thank you, everyone who has hung out with us here at REI Sports Network, and we can't wait to see you the next time around. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.